Hey there troops, it's me TheTacticalBrit, and Battlefield 5 features a new distinction that we haven't seen in the support class before, and that is LMGs and MMGs. And the idea behind this is to bring a sort of new directive to what the class can offer. In the LMG section you can have guns that are much more run and gun, much more close quarters, and are definitely intending for a more offensive role in support. In much contrast to that, the MMGs are definitely a heavily defensive role. They require bipodding and they require a lot of support mechanics in order to work successfully. It's pretty safe to say that running around with an MMG will definitely get you killed, whereas an LMG will give you plenty of options. The two distinctions between offense and defense in this class really give you opportunities to shift up how you play and really make a difference in the battlefield scene depending on what game you're playing. So today I wanted to give you a rundown of the MG42, which is arguably the best MMG in the game, and it's also the last unlock in the class at rank 20. I think you guys can tell from the footage below that this thing is an absolute monster. This was completely specialized. I'd reduced some of the recoil, I'd increased the fire rates, I'd increased the magazine sizes and everything. I'd gone for the full shebang to really try and get this gun out there and do the best I possibly could. And I think the biggest thing that I noticed about using the MG42 is that it's not actually the weapon itself that requires a lot of thought or processing in terms of firing it. It's more actually your positioning and what you're doing to fortify your offensive and defensive points. Now, in Battlefield 5, this game does tailor pretty well towards, ranged weapons and sniper rifles, and that isn't really a big surprise. You can get your head torn off by a sniper rifle more or less the second you bipod anything, and that's something we've kind of been used to for a while, but it definitely stands out a bit more in Battlefield 5. Now, when the MMGs really come into their own here is when there is a clear effort made to fortify a position and get into safety before you actually take stuff on. You'll notice in most of the gameplay today that I'm utilizing sandbag defenses and really trying to dig in before engaging anybody really with the MG42. And the reason behind that is simply because if you don't do so, you make yourself a very clear target. The MMGs really are the kind of guns where you can't move between objectives without a process of thought, or you can't get set up without some kind of process happening either. When you're moving in between objectives, you have to move methodically, you have to move cover to cover, and you have to move into locations where it's very easy for you to bipod and get a drop on an enemy should they come round you. And there's not really an opportunity for you to really go gung-ho with it. You have to be bipodded down at any given instance to really be effective. The MMGs simply don't work incredibly well at standing or crouching. You have to really do your best to be bipodded at any given instance. That's not saying that it's a complete write-off to really try and take the weapon on when standing or crouching, but it has to be within 10 meters at best. This thing is not a gun that will work favorably for you if you're trying to run around gung-ho with it. And then when it comes to attacking or defending a position, you really have to get yourself set. You have to find somewhere that isn't inherently obvious, because I think this is one big problem. People tend to go for positions in Battlefield 5 that it just makes sense for a light machine gun to be there, like a pillbox or something. And although that can work and it can be effective, it only is for a short period of time, because then people will start firing long-range rifles and other things in that general direction. I find the best situations are in discrete sandbags, maybe even a mound that has lots of foliage coverage, or just simple hills, nothing too shabby that will overdo anything or make it inherently clear where you are. And you'll notice in the gameplay today, there were lots of times where I was literally just standing on top of some sandbags that, although it might be in the proximity of an objective, it wasn't a very obvious position. I wasn't in like the middle of a bridge. I wasn't necessarily always standing in, direct field of view of everybody coming my way. And I was really looking to lock down lanes. I knew that enemies would be approaching from certain directions like alleyways and certain buildings, and I was really just covering those lanes and not really exposing myself to the wider battlefield map, because if you do that, then of course some sniper will take it upon themselves to tear your head off from about 500 miles away. And bearing in mind, I was in this server at this gameplay event with Stode and Daz, who are two arguably some of the best snipers in the world in Battlefield, so you can imagine it was quite difficult to get set with any kind of MMG setup in Battlefield at the moment because of the people that I was playing against. But simply with that methodical point of view, if you can really lay down your MG42 in positions that simply make sense, and ones that are fortified, and don't move between objectives too strangely, and you use a sort of methodical approach from cover to cover, then we really have a successful gun on your hands, and definitely something that, in my opinion, can make the difference. I think I killed a good third of the people coming towards some of the objectives when I was playing on the Rotterdam invasion map, and that made a huge difference in terms of what they could actually put onto the objectives. So troops, that's about it from me today. As always, thank you for watching. Let me know if you have any questions about MMGs or the MG42 in particular in the comment section below. As always, thank you for watching, and I will see you again soon in the next video.